Well, hello, this is Mike Jacko with Menria and Real Estate Promo with another Flip It Friday video tip for you guys. And this week I want to talk about the due on sale clause because a couple times now in the last about 2 or 3 weeks, I've seen discussions on Facebook about the due on sale clause. More specifically about the fact whether a land trust will hide the fact that you did a subject to and transferred ownership or a contract for deed or whatever, something that could have violated or triggered the due on sale clause. And I've heard 2 different conversations. One from another investor who had actually heard a speaker say that, hey, you want to avoid the due on sale clause, put a property into a trust, and that'll hide that. Well, that's not true, and that investor knew that, and so he was making fun of the speaker. The second one, I think, might have been a follow-up to that question, but it was a separate post, and it was from another investor who really didn't know the answer, so they were asking whether or not if you could put a property into trust to avoid the due on sale clause. Now, a trust will not hide the due on sale clause. First of all, to explain what the due on sale clause is, if you transfer ownership of a property via a subject to transaction or a contract for deed, land contract, agreement for deed, selling on a purchase money mortgage where a seller carries back a mortgage and you're wrapping around the existing lender's loan. If the loan that is there has a due on sale clause, meaning the lender has the right to call the loan due if you transfer ownership without their consent. Now, the key that you need to understand is the due on sale clause does not say that you cannot transfer ownership. It just says that if you do it without the lender's consent, then the lender has the right to call the loan due, which is perfectly true. Now, the thing that a couple people have been talking about, well, will a land trust avoid that? It will under one circumstance, and that circumstance is if you are the grantor, meaning the property is already in your personal name, not in an entity's name, not in a business, not in something else, but if it's in your personal name, and you transfer the property into a trust, and you remain the beneficiary, so you went from the grantor to the beneficiary, and you are occupying the property and you are homesteading the property, then the Garn-St. Germain Act, I believe is 1986, prevents the lender from calling the loan due because of the due on sale clause under that scenario. Now, the caveat to that is, yeah, sure, you can do that, but the owner, the grantor, must be occupying and homesteading the property in order for the Garn-St. Germain Act to protect the due on sale clause. If you put the property in a trust for the seller and then transfer the ownership to you or your entity, that would trigger the due on sale clause. Now, that doesn't mean that the lender is going to call the loan due because, quite frankly, in today's environment with the low interest rates, they're not calling loans due because of the due on sale clause. They may send out the letters and notifications that, hey, we noticed that there was a transfer, we didn't have consent, so therefore we're calling the loan due. But as long as you keep making the payments, they don't follow up and they don't pursue that. They just do that by default because they're trying, their system catches it, automatically fires off that letter or that notification. But once that's done, they don't ever do anything about it again. And that's because it costs them too much right now to call a loan due that's performing and make it a non-performing note right now. So the lenders don't want to do that. That will change when interest rates start going up. And I don't know at what level or at what point that's going to happen. I mean, the whole reason why the due on sale clause came into effect in the 1980s is because rates started climbing really fast and got really high, and those old lower interest rate loans were not getting paid off because people were doing fully assumable, no qualifying loans and just transfer them to other people. That's why the lenders put in the due on sale clause in the first place, so that if rates go up, they can call the loan due. But they were also smart enough to figure out that if the rates were going down, they didn't want to force those loans due, so they wrote the due on sale clause, or sometimes known as the acceleration clause, in a manner that benefits them, so they can call it due if they want, or they can just let it slide and not exercise their option. So hopefully that clears it up a little bit more. I also do some more training on that. In fact, I did just do a training on it last week for our premium members, primarily because of this discussion that had been coming up, and it's becoming more and more of a topic these days that we need to focus on, the due on sale clause and the subject tos. And if you're one of the premium members, next training we're going to be covering the actual subject tos. So if you don't know about that, check with the RIAs or check with our office, and we'll get you guys hooked up so you can get hooked up as a premium member so you can get onto those trainings as well. Until next week, we'll see you guys later.